the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Hello there, good evening. Welcome to the National News Broadcast. I am Niket Karunaratne.
And I'm Hussain Ali.
President says the priority will be given to the economy of the country at this juncture. Further examination of the petition over the local government elections postponed to May 11th. The President decides not to place his signature to implement capital punishment. 57, including Vasantha Mudalige, arrested. Steps to establish 2 wind power plants in Mana and Punarin. Bail conditions imposed against Tanushka Gunatilaka eased. An earthquake in Tajikistan.
On to those and other stories in detail now. President Ranil Wickremesinghe says that his priority is building the economy of the country and not politics. Participating in the parliamentary debate held today, President Wickremesinghe said that he took no measures to postpone the local government polls. President Ranil Wickremesinghe said that the statement claiming that the Secretary to the Treasury informed the Election Commission that they were unable to provide funds for the election is false. He said that he informed the Election Commission members on December 14th about the economic situation and instructed to hold an election when the number of members of the local government election was reduced to 5,000. He added that holding an election at the time would not have been healthy for the economy. As the President, he said that he informed the Election Commission about the situation. He added that on the 5th of January, he met with the Attorney General, the Prime Minister and the members of the Commission, as there was a division within. During the formulation of the budget proposal, President Wickremesinghe said that the Election Commission estimated that the election would cost 10 billion rupees. However, on the 9th, they sent a letter to the Director General stating that they only required 6 billion rupees in liquid cash. As a result, the ministry began to investigate the estimates, as the Election Commission demanded less money while the police demanded more, he added. The other departments have yet to submit their estimates, but funds have been allocated for the election. He said that Chief Accountant G.R.A.K. Gamalat signed on behalf of the Election Commissioner General, which no one has the authority to do. President Wickremesinghe pointed out that Section 104E6 states that the Commission may delegate any power, duty or function of the Commission or Commissioner General of Elections to another officer of the Commission, who shall exercise, perform and discharge such power, duty or function subject to the direction and control of the Commission. The President said that they failed to mention they received authority from 104E6 on January 9th. He said that the Commissioner wrote in a letter that cash had not been provided based on their request to begin the initial steps of the election. If the cash had been provided, disciplinary action could have been taken against the officer who provided the money. The chairman sent a letter on the 3rd of February, but in any letter they have failed to mention that it was a decision of the Commission, he added. President Wickremesinghe said that there is no official date set for the election, and according to Section 104, a quorum of 3 members is required for any meeting of the Commission. He said that they have no intention to postpone the election, but the government is deprived of funds. On the other hand, there is no election at hand as well, he added, and claimed that the Commission is answerable to the Parliament. The Parliament is asked to appoint a select committee on this matter, he further added.
ඔබතුමාට කිව්ව නැද්ද? ඔබතුමාට කිව්ව නැද්ද? ඔබතුමාත් කිව්වා හෙලිකොප්ටරේ ගන්න බෑ. කිව්වේ නැද්ද ජනතා විමුක්ති පෙරමුණ නවත්තන්න ඡන්දේ නවත්තන්න කියලා? කරු ජයපතිතුමා කිව්වේ නැද්ද? ඔබතුමා කිව්වා කවුරුත් ඡන්දේ කල් දාලා නැහැ. තාම කොමිසමෙන් ඡන්දේ තියන්න දිනියක් දාලා නැහැ.
The opposition MPs engaged in a protest at the parliamentary chamber following the departure of the president.
උඩට අල්ල බෙදා වගේ. දියව්.
The Supreme Court ordered today to defer the further hearing of the writ petition filed seeking for an order to postpone local government elections until the 11th of May.
And the order was issued granting permission to all relevant parties, including the Election Commission, to examine and submit evidence over the affidavits presented by Secretary to the Finance Ministry, who has been named as a respondent to the petition. The relevant writ petition was filed by retired Army Colonel W.M.R. Vijayasundara. The petition was taken up for hearing before a 3-member Supreme Court judge panel consists of Justice S. Thurairaja, AHMD Nawaz and Shiran Gunaratne. During the hearing, government printer has refused to distribute the bailout papers required for the election. A cabinet decision has been taken to limit fiscal expenditures due to the state revenue decline and the present economic crisis in the country. Accordingly, the Finance Ministry Secretary informed the courts in an affidavit regarding the difficulties in releasing financial provisions required for the local government election. President's Counsel Sarli Pires informed that financial provisions worth 8,000 million rupees are required to conduct the elections. Justice Nawaz inquired the Additional Solicitor General regarding the status of the finances and when the conditions will be positive. The Additional Solicitor General in response said that a statement in this regard cannot be made at this juncture. The attorney representing the peripheral organization pointed out that the relevant provisions can be collected from the public to conduct the elections. However, Justice Thurairaja informed that such measures cannot be recommended at present considering the financial difficulties pertaining to the public. The judge in the open court said that those who are interested can make such donations to the Treasury in this regard. Accordingly, Attorney at Law M.S. Mandirani informed the court that the undertaking of the Election Commission chairman over the conducting of the elections remains valid.
Political parties continue to organize public rallies and meetings targeting the local government polls. A public rally organized by the Samagi Jana Balavege was held in Polonnaruwa with the participation of party leader Sajith Premadasa. Popular artist Damita Aberatne was also present at the rally. The public rally organized by the National People's Power was held in Kandy yesterday. The party leader Anurakumara Disanayaka was also present at the rally. Now on further news, the US Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen says she will continue to push for all bilateral official creditors, including China, to participate in meaningful debt treatments for developing countries and emerging markets in distress. She called for meaningful solutions to the debt woes of countries such as Sri Lanka.
And the US Treasury Secretary was speaking at a media conference in the southern Indian city of Bangalore before a 2-day G20 meeting of finance ministers and central bank governors set to kick off tomorrow.
Over the next 2 days, I also look forward to continuing the G20's work to build a stronger and more resilient global economy. This includes advancing work on debt, climate change, and the evolution of the multilateral development banks. First, we need to work together to ease the debt overhang that is holding back too many countries. The IMF estimates that around 55% of low-income countries are close to or in debt distress. I will continue to push for all bilateral official creditors, including China, to participate in meaningful debt treatments for developing countries and emerging markets in distress. and to commit to specific and credible financing assurances for Sri Lanka. So I think it's important for China to cooperate. Sri Lanka is also a country of concern where China plays a significant role and needs to come to the table. The conversations with my Chinese counterparts have been constructive, and I'm hopeful that we will see progress in China in the coming months, but it is very important.
Meanwhile, 57 persons, including Inter-University Students Federation convener Vasanta Mudalige, have been taken in police custody under the charges of forcibly entering into the Education Ministry premises today. 48 student monks are also among the arrested. Entering the ministry premises, the students of the Homagama Pitipana Sri Lanka Buddhist Pali University demanded to resume the academic activities of the university. Subsequently, the police arrested the students and IUSF convener into custody for protesting at the ministry premises. In a statement, the Education Ministry has said that the Buddhist and Pali University students and IUSF convener, along with another group of protesters, had forcibly entered the ministry premises without any prior notice. The Administrative Board of the Buddhist and Pali University informed that the university activities will resume from February 27th.
The State Trading General Corporation says the first consignment of eggs imported from India will reach the country by next Sunday or Monday. The eggs are imported into the country with the objective to address the egg shortage in the market, as well as the crisis pertaining to the price rates. Now, the first consignment of 2 million eggs will leave India on the next Friday. The acting chairman of the State Trading General Corporation, Gilma Dahanayaka, said that a company which has the capacity to supply egg stocks under the requirements specified by the country has already been selected in this regard. Steps have been taken to distribute the imported eggs to companies including large-scale bakeries engaged in wholesale purchasing, while stocks will not be issued to the retail market. Eggs will be imported under present quarantine methodologies. The Finance Ministry has taken steps to reduce the special commodity levy of 50 rupees for each egg up to 1 rupee. The relevant circular was issued on the 20th of this month. President Ranil Wickremesinghe, in the capacity of the subject minister, has extended the relevant tax concession. The Finance Ministry has further said that the relevant tax concession will remain effective for a period of 3 months from the 21st of February, when eggs are being imported through the State Trading General Corporation. Meanwhile, small-scale egg producers have expressed their displeasure over the import tax concession on eggs.
Meanwhile, health workers attached to many hospitals in the country were engaged in a protest action today.
The protest was held from 8 a.m. to 12 noon. The patients faced various difficulties due to the protest action. The protest action was launched based on several demands, including overtime, payment cuts and medicinal shortage. The National Hospital Trade Union Collective engaged in a protest at the hospital premises. A protest action was also organised in base, divisional and other hospitals in the country. Many patients faced great difficulties owing to the ongoing protest. The health workers attached to the Badulla General Hospital hoisted black-coloured flags at the premises. And health staff attached to the Dikkoya Base Hospital in Hatton also engaged in a protest. Now, President Ranil Wickremesinghe has decided not to place his signature on the verdicts delivered by any court of law in the country to implement capital punishment.
And the Attorney General informed the Supreme Court in this regard today. This was convened when the fundamental right petition filed against former President Maithripala Sirisena, challenging to move his place signature on the death penalties passed on to 4 convicts over narcotics-related charges, were taken up for consideration today. Additional Solicitor General Naren Pillai, who appeared on behalf of the Attorney General, conveyed the statement to the courts. Accordingly, the Additional Solicitor General said that the Secretary to the President has directed a letter to the Attorney General citing the President's decision in this regard. The Attorney General informed the Court of Appeal today that 2 charge sheets have been filed against State Minister Sanat Nishantha over contempt of court. 3 complaints lodged by 2 attorneys and the Judicial Service Association of Sri Lanka in this regard were taken up for consideration today. Appearing on behalf of the Attorney General, the State Counsel delivered the statement of the AG to the Court of Appeal. She also informed the courts that even though a video footage had been summoned from the media unit of Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna related to the case, the relevant party is yet to submit the evidence for consideration. The State Council also requested the court to allow voice examination. The Sri Lanka Board of Investment has granted approval to a leading Indian company, Adani Group, to set up 2 wind power plants in Mannar and Punarin.
Now, the 2 wind power plants are expected to add 350 megawatts to the national grid. The relevant agreement was signed in Colombo yesterday. State Minister Dilum Amunugama and representatives of the Adani Group were present on this occasion. The new projects, expected to be carried out with an investment of $442 million, will generate nearly 2,000 employment opportunities. The projects are expected to be completed within a period of 2 years.
Meanwhile, Minister Nimal Siripada Silva refuted the reports that alleged the importation of 239 vehicles for state ministers as baseless. The minister made these remarks responding to a query raised by the State Minister Shanta Bandara at the Parliament today.
ප්‍රාදේශ සභා දිනා ගන්න ඕනද අපි ඕන මේ වගේ යන්න. හැබැයි මේ විදිහට බොරු ප්‍රචාර කරලා මේ රාජ්‍ය ඇමතිවරුන්ට මේ වෙලාවේ වාහන ගෙන්නනවා කියලා ජනාධිපතිතුමාත් අපහසුතාවයටපත් කළා මේ ආණ්ඩුවත් අපහසුතාවයටපත් කළා. මේ වගේ ජරා ජීර්ණ දේශපාලනය කරන්න එපා කියලා ඉල්ලා සිටිනවා. මේ පිළිබඳව මම වරාය අධිකාරියෙන්
The State Minister said that the JVP member
ගෙන්නලා නැහැ. මේක සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම
Mr. Nimal Siripada Silva said that upon inquiring the Ports Authority, it has been revealed that no such vehicles have been imported.
පැමිණිල්ලකුත් කරලා තියෙනවා. ඒ වගේම පුවත්පත් වලටත් ලිපි යවලා තියෙනවා. මෙය නිවැරදි කරන්න කියලා මෙවැනි දෙයක් සිදු වෙලා නැහැ කියලා. මේක බරපතල ප්‍රශ්නයක්. ජනතාවට බෙහෙත් ගන්න සල්ලි නැති වෙලාවක සැප වාහන 200
The distribution of school uniforms to students for the year 2023 was commenced today.
The program was initiated at the Sapugaskanda warehouse complex. The government of China agreed to provide 50% of the uniform materials for the year 2023 as a grant. The grant allocation was increased to 70% following a request made by Minister Susil Premajayantha. The first consignment of the uniform materials will be distributed to schools outside the capital city, and the rest of the fabric will be distributed among provincial and zonal schools in other parts of the country. President Ranil Wickremesinghe has instructed state officials to travel economy class for official visits abroad amidst the current economic crisis.
And in a bid to maximize the use of government funds and ensure that resources are utilized efficiently, President Secretary Saman Ekanaika has issued a directive on the instructions of the President requiring officials purchasing airline for official travel abroad to be on economy class. This directive will take effect from March 1st and supersedes all previous circulars and instructions related to this subject. According to the new directive, officials such as the Chief Justice, Justices of the Supreme Court, Chairman of the Court of Appeal and Justices of the Court of Appeal are exempt from booking economy class tickets. However, if an officer needs to travel business class, they may do so at their own expense, paying the difference between an economy and business class ticket. The directive also states that exemptions to this rule require prior approval based on sufficient justification. The President's directive aims to ensure that government funds are used only for essential purposes and that resources are utilized efficiently.
Chamirayapa Abhivardhana has been appointed as the new chairman of the National Lotteries Board. He is the 26th chairman of the board. The National Lotteries Board is popular among the public as a leading state agency which has been a pillar of strength to the country's economy for nearly 6 decades. The former chairman of the Lotteries Board was also present at the occasion. And that's a wrap of local news. Stay tuned for foreign news coming up next.
Hot and spicy Happy Valentine's Day! Prima Kottumi share the hot and spicy love every day. Prima Kottumi, fun tamai!
Welcome back. And on foreign news, an earthquake of about 6.8 magnitude shook eastern Tajikistan this morning, which was also felt in China and other neighboring countries. The earthquake struck the mountainous Gorno-Badakhshan region, which was hit by a series of deadly avalanches earlier this month. Although sparsely populated, it is home to a large lake, Sarez, which, if disturbed, could flood a vast area spanning several countries. Tajik authorities said that there was no sign of the lake being disturbed by the earthquake. The epicenter was about 82 kilometers from the nearest border with China, and the earthquake was strongly felt in some areas in China's western Xinjiang region. There were no reports of casualties either in Tajikistan or in China. Power supply and communication remained normal in Kashgar.
France is facing drought restrictions after its driest winter for more than 60 years. Following a month of no significant rainfall, the country is now in a state of alert. Local authorities are expected to assess the situation territory by territory in France. Last year was France's hottest year on record, according to the French weather agency. Records were broken elsewhere in Europe, in the UK, Spain and Italy. The hot temperatures triggered drought conditions that many regions are yet to recover from. Snowfall in the Italian Alps is down by 53% and water levels in the Po basin of Italy's largest river are 61% below normal, according to researchers. A state of emergency was declared last July in 5 northern regions surrounding the river Po because of the 2022 drought. Low tides in Venice have meant gondolas and water taxis are unable to move around because of muddy canals, and the foundations of buildings in the Grand Canal have become exposed. Last month, a report published by Nature Climate Change warned that Alps, Europe's most important mountain range for supplying rivers, had seen a 5.6% reduction in snow cover duration per decade over the last 50 years.
Now, in more news, a fierce winter storm has caused widespread disruption in the United States, while southeastern parts of the country brace for record high temperatures. As of yesterday, about 75 million people in 28 states have been placed under winter weather alerts. Blizzards in the Dakotas, Minnesota and Wisconsin have forced many schools and businesses to close. Meanwhile, high temperatures in Washington, D.C. are expected to break a nearly 150-year-old record. In the northern states, forecasts of up to 2 feet of snow in some parts could mean areas endure the biggest snowfalls for 30 years. Forecasters said that the storm system could span 1,300 miles from Nebraska to New Hampshire. More than 1,700 flights have been cancelled in the United States as a result of the storm. Icy weather is also forecasted for typically sunny and warm Los Angeles, California, where a rare blizzard warning has been issued. Meanwhile, much of the southern United States is basking in unusually high temperatures for this time of the year. McAllen, Texas, recorded a sweltering 95 degrees Fahrenheit.
Tourists in Japan are enjoying cherry blossoms, which are now in full bloom in the town of Kawazu and Shizuoka Prefecture. A variety of trees that are named kawazu, similar to the name of the town, are well known for blooming early this year. The color of the blossoms have now turned into deep pink. Visitors were able to witness cherry trees in a 4-kilometer stretch along Kawazu River. The area along the river is considered as one of the best cherry blossom viewing spots. The cherry blossoms started blooming later than usual this year, and the season is expected to last until early next month. The festival, which started the first day of this month, has been extended to March 5th.
Share the hot and spicy love every day.
And on sports news for tonight, Sydney's Downing Centre local court has eased the bail conditions imposed against Sri Lankan cricketer Dhanushka Gunatilaka, who has been charged for committing an alleged sexual assault on an Australian woman. Accordingly, Dhanushka Gunatilaka has been allowed to use the messaging service WhatsApp and to leave his residence at night.
Dhanushka Gunatilaka, during the recently held T20 World Cup in Australia, was charged under the sexual assault allegations. Subsequently, Gunatilaka was released on bail but was banned from using Tinder and other social media platforms. He was also banned from leaving his residence during the night time. However, following a motion submitted to change the bail conditions, the court allowed the cricketer to use WhatsApp messaging service and to leave in the night. His case is expected to return to court in April. The Sri Lankan cricketers have concluded the special training sessions held at the Radella Stadium in Nanuil. This training session was organised as preparations to condition the players for the upcoming New Zealand tour. The series will begin on March 9th, and the series is consisted of 2 test matches, 3 one-day internationals and 3 T20 internationals. Wanindu Hasaranga has reclaimed the #1 position in the T20 bowlers rankings. This is the second time he was placed on top of the list, and Rashid Khan is currently in the 2nd place, while England's Adil Rashid is ranked at 3.
And in more sports news, the Sri Lanka Air Force Cycling Tour is set to commence on the 22nd of March and will continue until the 4th.
The annual Air Force Cycling Tour will be held under men's and women's categories. The first phase of the men's category will be held from Colombo to Kandy, second phase from Pallekele to Polonnaruwa, and the third phase from Polonnaruwa to Anuradhapura, at a total distance of 395 kilometers. Meanwhile, the women's category will be held from Habarana to Anuradhapura.
Happy Valentine's Day! Prema Kottumi, share the hot and spicy love every day. Every day.
And that's all the news for today. Join us again at the same time tomorrow. Good night.